The first map we'll be talking about is Oregon. If you want to electrify the single wall right here, all you need to do is come into T1 of Big Tower and then throw your Kid Claw slightly to the right below of this AC vent here. Now, that Electric Claw will electrify this wall. Optionally as well, if you want to electrify both of these walls if they're reinforced, or if you plan on reinforcing them later, you can throw a Kid Claw on these vines just like this, which will perfectly electrify these two elbow walls. Now, let's say that you're playing the meeting site. If you want to electrify the two stage walls right here, you can actually just come below and put a claw in between this light and these AC vents right about here, which, as you can see, will electrify both of these walls. Another wall you're going to need electrified is the garage wall leading into Split right here. If you want to do that, you can just come into the basement and put an electro claw all the way over here, and now this wall is electrified. Let's say instead that you play kitchen and dining, then you'll want these two kitchen walls connecting to meeting electrified as well. To do this, all you need to do is put an electro claw around over here, and now these two walls are also electrified. Now that was just one out of 16 different maps that I'll be going over in today's video. The next of which being Clubhouse. Now if you want two electro claws that are great for the main wall inside of CC, the first one you can put right here on the side of the top red hallway. And then for the wall on the right, you can put a Kid Claw below right here. And now you have both of these walls electrified, and these are very hard to find with EMPs. Additionally, you probably want the cash wall reinforced as well. To do that, just throw a Kid Claw behind these speakers right here. And now this wall is electrified. Now if you want the construction wall electrified instead, all you have to do is come into the main hallway and put it behind this exit sign right here. And now this wall is electrified. If you end up going gym bedroom instead though, you need these two walls electrified. And to do this, all you have to do is come into bathroom and put it in front of this wooden chase right here. And there you go. An even better kid map though is Chalet. To electrify both of these wine walls here, all you have to do is come into dining, then prone behind this dining desk, open up this hole, and throw your Kid Claw inside here. I've talked about this claw a bunch because it really is that good, as you can see by this. If you want to get the hatch here also, just tear down this barricade and wait for the prep phase to end. Once the prep phase is ended, you can just throw a Kid Claw in this corner here. And now the wine hatch is electrified. You can do the exact same thing for the connector hatch as well, just by going outside and putting it in this corner. And now this hatch is electrified. Something else that's really important for the basement site is these two snowmobile walls right here. To get those walls, all you have to do is put a Kid Claw below this window. And now both of the walls are electrified. Finally, I have a Kid Claw that can get all three of these dining hatches right here. To do this, all you have to do is throw a Kid Claw from the basement onto the roof right about here. And now all three of these walls are electrified. Next, let's move on to Coastline. I don't know why you'd play Kid on this map, but just in case you did, the first Kid Claw is going to go above the Sunrise Double right there, which will electrify both of your vase walls if they tried to open them last round. If you also want 3 out of 4 of the quad walls reinforced here, then all you need to do is put an Electro Claw right here. And now all 3 of these walls are electrified. If you're going Blue Bar and Sunrise and you want this hatch reinforced, you can put an Electro Claw where these 3 wine bottles are inside of the case, just like that. And now it'll reach the hatch and electrify it. If you're playing Penthouse and you want the 2 walls for theater electrified, all you have to do is come downstairs and put it below in reception right here. And now they're electrified. If you want the 2 Blue Bar walls right here electrified as well, all you would have to do is come into Pink Bar and throw a claw in this corner right here. And now both of these walls are electrified. Now I know you're probably not going to play this site or play KAID on this map much in general, but a map that you definitely will play him on is Villa. The first wall I'll show you is the vault wall inside of Aviator Games. To do this, just throw it behind the vault door here. This Kid Claw will get the vault wall. Another wall you need for this site are the 2 bar walls. To do this, all you have to do is throw a Kid Claw below the 2 walls right here. And now they're both electrified. If you want a Kid Claw for kitchen and dining, all you have to do to electrify the pantry wall is break open the dresser and throw a Kid Claw inside of it. And now the wall is electrified. If you plan on playing this site, you definitely should extend into Memorial, which is why our next Kid Claw is going to get the 2 Memorial walls here. To do this, just come into the basement and put it on the roof, just like this. And now both of these walls are electrified. Now for the final Kid Claw on Villa, you want these 3 walls if you're playing in Statue to be electrified, or at least the 2 on the right. To do this, just come into Dining, and then you can throw a Kid Claw right here. And now all 3 walls are electrified. For the next map, let's go over Cafe. If you're playing top floor, you'll want a Kid Claw for the red stairs. And to do this, just throw a Kid Claw right about here, which will electrify both walls. Next, you'll need a Kid Claw that can get the 2 main walls here. To do that, all you gotta do is put a KAID claw in this corner, inside of reading. And now both of these walls are electrified. If you want to go into the basement and you want these two walls electrified, you can put a KAID claw in between these two AC ducts. To do this, you can just throw a KAID claw somewhere like in between the AC ducts here. It'll still like pop out a little bit, but you can easily electrify the walls. Now, I know that there is a way that you can hide an electro claw in between the AC ducts if you get the lineup just right, but it's so hard to get down packed that you won't really have enough time in the prep phase to do it, so just find a place like that, it'll work fine. For the second KAID claw, if you want to electrify both of these walls and the hatch, all you have to do is throw a KAID claw right around here, which will get the hatch and the two walls. Now finally, if you want the two reading walls electrified, all you gotta do is put a KAID claw below in whiskey right about there, which will electrify both of these walls. For our next map, let's go over canal. Now if you want to electrify this small closet right here, all you gotta do is put an electro claw like literally right there behind the cabinet, and it'll have the wall electrified. If you want to electrify the hatch as well, all you have to do is come into kayaks and throw it in the top left corner right here, and now the hatch is electrified. Another hatch you need electrified is the one leading to map room and skybridge. To do this, just put it behind this wooden box right here, and that KAID claw will electrify the hatch just slightly. Another wall that you need electrified for that site is right here, and to do that, just come to bottom red stairs and put it next to this AC duct right here. And now the wall's electrified. Now for the final claw, if you're playing upstairs, you can get two of these 90 walls here electrified by simply putting a KAID claw in the corner of map room. And now the red 90 walls are electrified. Next, let's move on to bank. If you're playing the basement site, having this electrified can be really helpful for you. To do this, just throw a KAID electric claw under this file cabinet right here. And now this wall is electrified. Something else you'll need electrified for that site is the two open area hatches. To electrify this one next to the desk, just put it under this table right here. And now the hatch is electrified, and they will not be able to see it unless they crouch on the hatch, which they can't do because it's electrified. You'll also want this hatch electrified too. To do this, come under this desk instead and throw the electro claw here. And now this hatch is electrified. If you're playing an open area, a hatch you need to have electrified is the one above the small office. To do this, come into janitor and throw your KAID electro claw in this stack of papers right about here. And now the hatch is electrified. Finally, if you decide to go tellers and archives instead and you want an electro claw for this double wall here, all you need to do is come below and put it right here inside of the basement. And now both of these walls are also electrified. The next map is Nighthaven Labs. Now, a wall you need electrified is the main two site walls for top floor. To do this, just open a hole in the floor, make sure it doesn't penetrate both layers of wood, and then just throw a claw in the floor. And now both of these walls are electrified. If you want as well, I definitely recommend keeping these walls closed and electrified so you can hold this room. To do this, just come into the downstairs 90 hallway and put it right about there. And as you can see on this camera, those walls are electrified too. Now finally, you need a KAID claw for the two IT walls right here. To do this, just put it in the floorboard, just like that. And now both of these walls are electrified. Now if you're going into the basement site, you definitely need this hatch reinforced and electrified. To do this, just throw a KAID claw on the right side of the hatch, just like that. And not only does it electrify the hatch, but also because of this wall separating the hatch and the KAID claw, it makes it a little bit harder for them to EMP it if they're trying to EMP it directly on the hatch here. And then finally, if you want these two garage walls reinforced and electrified here, all you have to do is throw it from the basement directly like that. And now these walls are electrified. Now let's bring you to a map you probably know a lot better, which is Skyscraper. Now for the first two KAID claws, I'm going to show you two KAID claws that can split up on this office wall right here. For the first one, you can just shoot open this little wooden shelf just like this, and then throw a KAID claw inside. That will electrify the left wall, and then for the right wall, you can throw a KAID claw right there. And now both of the walls are electrified. Optionally as well, you can just throw the KAID claw super high up on the wall right here, which will get both walls, and it'll be very hard for them to EMP. Now, if you decide to go bedroom and bathroom on Skyscraper and you want these two walls electrified, all you have to do is come into minibar and shoot out the little yellow pillows here, and throw a KAID claw under the bench just like that. Now that KAID claw will electrify both of these walls here. Additionally, if you're playing that site, you'll probably want a reinforcement for the hatch as well. And to electrify this hatch, just break open a door right here, and then break open this side of the shelf, and throw a KAID claw inside the shelf just like that. And now the hatch is electrified, they can't see where you put it, and if they try to get it, they can't because they'll have to be on an electrified hatch and damage themselves to do so. Now let's move on to theme park. If you want to electrify this hatch for the bomb site downstairs, all you have to do is put a KAID claw inside of the vending machine, right about here. And now the hatch is electrified. Another wall you need electrified for the basement site is the 2 yellow walls right here. To do this, throw your first KAID claw below this bench next to furnace, which will electrify the left side wall. Then throw a KAID claw in the top right of the wall, just like this, to electrify the right side wall. You throw it super high there so they can't get on vert and shoot it from above. And if you do it right, you can still pick up the claw and trick it later. If you decide to go daycare and bunks and you want these 3 walls electrified here, all you have to do is throw an electro claw right here inside of drug lab. And now as you can see, all 3 walls are electrified. Now if you decide to go initiation and vault instead and you want an electro claw for this wall here, all you have to do is put a KAID claw below in armory just like this. And now those 2 walls are electrified. Now let's move on to a newer map, which is the reworked consulate. Typically, you'll have a reinforcement here with head holes here and the yellow wall reinforced. A way that you can electrify both of these walls here is by coming into bathroom, proning right here, and throwing an electro claw just like this. Now both of these walls here are electrified. Let's say instead that you're playing the mid floor. If you want a KAID claw for these 2 walls right here, all you have to do is come into kitchen, get on top of this table, and throw a KAID claw right about here. And now both of these walls are electrified. If you want a KAID claw for these 2 walls here as well, all you have to do is throw it under just like this. And now both of these walls are electrified. Now if you're playing the basement, chances are you're going to want this wall and this hatch electrified if you're holding tunnel. And for this, the best one I can give you is literally just in this corner right here. And as you can see, they're both electrified. Now finally, if you're playing upstairs, having these 3 walls electrified and reinforced is really powerful. And to do this, you can just come downstairs and put an electro claw below the walls, just like this. And now they're all electrified. Now let's move on to border. If you're playing the top floor site and you want a good below KAID claw for this wall here, then come into this room and throw a KAID claw right here. And now both of these walls are electrified. Now if you want the workshop hatch electrified, all you have to do is prone on top of the hatch and throw it below the bench, just like that. As you can see, it's electrified. Now if you're playing downstairs and you need KAID claws for both of these hatches here, then I'd recommend a KAID claw somewhere below this hatch here. Then I'd recommend putting a KAID claw upstairs, just like this, to electrify that hatch. Now for the final KAID claw on border, if you want this wall electrified here, all you have to do is put it right next to this light, just like this. And now that wall is electrified. For the next map, let's move on to Emerald Plains. If you want this closet wall right here, reinforced, all you have to do is put it next to this luggage, just like this. And now it's electrified and they can't EMP it. If you also want these 3 green hall walls electrified as well, put an electro claw just like this. And now all 3 walls are electrified. If instead you're playing dining and kitchen and you want the hatch and the 2 walls here reinforced, you can throw one on the soft wall just like this. And now all 3 are electrified. If you're playing the first site that we talked about earlier though and you want these 2 walls here electrified, then you can easily put one on the soft floor just like this. And now both of these walls here are electrified. And finally, if you're in the other second floor objective or you're trying to play upstairs for the downstairs objective, having these 2 walls reinforced and electrified is amazing. Which is why the final KAID claw is going to go in dining right about here. And now both of these walls here are electrified. Next, let's move to Outback. Now if you want these 2 walls right here reinforced in dorms, then you can come into the reptile hallway and throw it right about here. And now both of these walls are electrified. Now if you want the 3 bull walls electrified as well in case you're playing party and office, then throw a KAID claw below right here from service. And now all 3 of these walls will be electrified. Another wall you need electrified for this site and reinforced is the electrical double wall here. You can throw your first KAID claw on the left side in this generator hole, just like this, and now they can't shoot it from below, and it gets the left side of the wall. Whereas the other one can go on top of this file cabinet, just like this, and because it's through multiple layers of wood, it's really hard for IQs to shoot this one too. So now you have both sides electrified. Now finally, if you're playing below, having this hatch reinforced and electrified is crucial. So you can break open this door, and then once the prep phase ends, you can throw it on the wall right here. And now the hatch is electrified. Let's move on to our final map, which is Lair. Now, if you want 2 KAID claws that are really good for electrifying this wall here, the first one can just go next to the bomb chassis right here. And for the second one, you can come into the storage hallway, open up this doorway, and the second the prep phase ends, you can throw your KAID claw behind the black mat, just like this. And now that KAID claw will electrify the left side of the wall, and now you have the wall electrified. Now, if you're playing in the basement, you need this wall electrified here. And to do that, you can come outside this door here and electric claw the floor just like this. And now the wall is electrified. Moving it back upstairs though, if you want an electro claw that gets this wall without having to use 2 of them, then you can put one down next to this AC duct right here. and now they're both electrified. And doing that will save you one extra electro claw that you can use on the R6 room door here, where you can throw an electro claw next to this clock just like this. And now both of these walls are electrified. But that's pretty much it for today's video. Check out the next video. My name's Alka, and I'll see you there. Later.